Hey there, Stephan Hawkes here at Hawkes Studio with Guitar Tabs Daily. Today doing the Walrus Audio Mako Series D1 delay pedal. This thing's got a lot of features packed into a little box and is pretty impressive, so I'm excited to dig into it. Today I'm playing my 2004 V-neck Strat into a Matchless Independence 35, into a 1977 Marshall Blackback 30 cab with an SM57 and a Royer 121. So got a very nice clean tone going, which obviously is nice for testing how the delays do when you're trying to make atmospheric sounds, and this thing will do that and a whole lot more. So here's the regular clean. Built-in tap tempo. So I'm on the digital setting, which is kind of the starting setting. It's just a digital delay. It's a really nice digital delay. It sounds nice and smooth. The character of the amp, it's warm, but not warm like analog delay warm. It's warm in a sense that there aren't harsh edges to the digital delay, which I like the digital delay to be clear, but not ice picky and harsh. So for me, that's a win. Basically, kind of to break down the pedal, it's got a lot of the smart features that a compact delay pedal would need. So you've got your different times for your tap tempo. So this is just quarter note. So whatever you tap is what you get. It's very smooth. Then it's got double time. And then dotted eighths. I've never done a dotted eighth delay in my life, so I wouldn't know how to write riffs using that. Yeah, so we'll do, we'll mess around with that as we go along. This A, B, and C switch down here, that's for switching between the different banks. So I'm not going to be going into that a whole lot, but each bank holds 3 presets, and then you switch between each bank and you can bank up and down to it. So I'm just going to stay on the variable version to show off all the stuff that it can do. And then over here, the tweak knob is controlled by mod, tone, or age. So basically you can kind of get tape age and kind of nonlinear artifacts, or just use the tweak knob as a tone knob to make things brighter or darker, or to adjust the amount of modulation or the type of modulation. So the rest of them are pretty standard. You've got your time. So if you want to do something not tap tempo, you use the time. Repeats is the amount of repeats, and then mix is the amount of mix. This is one of those delays where making it like more 1-to-1 has the delay at noon. If you turn it all the way up, then you don't get any dry signal. So that's, useful obviously to have, especially when we get to the reverse setting, where I find I want almost none of the original signal, just a hint of it. So that'll come in handy later. Yeah, so again, here's just, the digital delay. That's just got a really nice, pleasant sound. I have it with the tone all the way up, and honestly, that sounds really nice and neutral to me. You can dull that out, still have a digital delay that's just darker. Obviously very useful. Let me go to the mod side of things. I'm a sucker for modulation delay on a digital delay. It's one of my favorite, most used kind of settings, and this has a nice modulation. Obviously, gets a little seasick there, so I tend to find, if you go all the way up, yeah, it's like we're getting seasick on a boat. So I like to keep it more on this side of things, just to get your kind of standard nice modulation. Right around there on the digital setting is nice to me. So So moving along to the mod side, obviously you get to have a little more fun and have some more modulated options. That's a little more extreme, but got a really nice sound to it. Yeah, it's got a little more shimmer to the modulation. I'm sure if I turn it up, it's going to get a little weird. So stuff like that isn't exactly my jam, but I mean, if you're the second guitar player in like a shoegaze band, or you're just trying to create sonic textures, that's great to have. And honestly, there's a lot of versions of that in other pedals that are really kind of overly cartoonish. For as extreme as that is, it still sounds nice. Like, I don't hate playing through it. And that's pretty extreme. I guess it goes even more extreme. But, you know, again, that's for some extreme settings. You know, if you were to lay some distortion on that, that could be more usable. But again, I usually stay more over in the reasonable realms of modulated delay. And that sounds lovely. Age. Yeah, so that's actually going to gives you more full use of the knob and just to hear the modulation. So if you're on the modulation setting using the modulation tweak, that gets you the extreme settings, but this is just nice. Just to remind you how much this is doing, that's that with no delay. I mean, as with any delay, you kind of miss it, but I really miss that one. Lovely sound. Put the tone on. So yeah, so you get a thinner modulation by cranking up the tone on it. So these are a nice set of features. I mean, especially with all the presets. You know, you can really get, I mean, I'm only 2 modes in, and thing kind of just does a lot of what you need the delay to do. So the way they've set up the switching and everything, it's pretty great. It's got that thinner but still modulated sound, and then obviously if you turn this down. Very good. Really smooth, nice repeats. Really like the fidelity on it. Now to the vintage side of things. Obviously, if we're going to do the tone on a vintage, we're going to want it probably up, unless you're going for something super dark. I assume this is still going to be pretty dark, even with the tone tweak all the way up. Lovely. Curious what the mod does on that. It's pretty subtle. Let's hear the age. So I assume this is going to do some tape age stuff. There you go. So you got your wow and flutter, which is kind of what I expected. That's the extreme setting of it. Turn that down a little bit. I really like that. That's cool. Turn it all the way up and then turn the mix down. Yeah, so you get some of that shredded tape vibe there, but you could use it in between breaks to be a little more subtle. So yeah, that's great. That's Has all the options you're looking at here. Dual delay. So it's probably going to be a little more useful on the stereo setting. However, it does have a different sound than the other one. Usually there's like a timed dual delay to kind of create, it's not really modulation, but since you get two delays close to each other, it's got a little more of like a space to it. I like it. It almost seems like mod delay version 2.0 to me, which again, I'll take all the mod delay you can give me, so. I like that. And then here comes the one everybody loves, reverse. Now, I should have gone over it with any of these, even if you just go back to the digital one. You can soften the attack. So it's kind of like an old Boss slow gear or something, and just kind of get rid of the edge. If you really soften it up, you almost just get a reverb. I mean, that's pretty crazy. That's cool, actually. I hadn't even thought of doing that, but effectively, this turns us into a modulated vintage reverb. I mean, that's pretty wild. Yeah, you just get the just the decay, no attack at all. And I assume that's where having a little more mix knob will come in handy. Sound builds. That's awesome. Yeah, the attack knob makes this kind of just a more versatile. Obviously, if I'm doing delays, I'm kind of more traditional. I'd like to hear the repeats guy, but that's great for creating soundscapes and kind of adds a whole other dimension to the pedal, and you can do that on any of the settings. It'll just kind of fold in on itself. That's really cool. I don't know if I've ever used a delay pedal that has that. I have a lot more kind of traditional, old school delays. So that feature, I mean, again, if you can just make the attack normal by putting it all the way down, I'll take all those kinds of options, those kinds of real world options. So going back down to the reverse, this is where, like I said, you turn the mix knob up so that you're barely hearing what you're playing. Assume if I bring up the attack on that, this will get really wild. Yeah, I mean, that's great if you're trying to create a transition or just a cool effect. Yeah, I feel like the attack knob makes that like probably the most useful reverse. I'm not a huge reverse delay guy because a lot of them I feel like are maybe a little gimmicky, or I don't know, they don't always do what I expect, but that one does exactly what I expect with the attack all the way up, or all the way down, and then with the attack kind of rounded off, it actually does cool atmospheric stuff that, you know, is exactly what I would want. As we go to mod here. Yeah, I mean, this is great. The mod sounds great. So you've kind of got a nice cross section of options for everything. You know, obviously this pedal's like packed to the gills. If I could have one additional feature, it would be just to have a dedicated tone knob, not have to choose between the brightness and the, you know, the mod or the tape age. So, I mean, I don't know. It hasn't stopped me from getting all the sounds I want, but you know, and I know you can only fit so much into one box like this, but it's an impressive box. Sounds really nice. Let's hear it with some distortion. Let's get some crazy riffing going and just see how it takes some distortion. So, yeah, let's. And I'm still on the reverse setting. So let's go down to the digital. Just got a nice sound. Like, it just is smooth. Like, it never pierces my ear. And to be honest, I hate delays that are like brittle and sharp. There's a lot of really popular delay pedals that I don't like because I find them to be too edgy. This thing is smooth at all times. I mean, the tone is smooth. You know, and I've got the tone all the way up, and it's still not bright. And it makes single note stuff up high sound big, which again, you know, for me, for crazy delay stuff that I do, that's a real win, because I often go between big low chords and then high notes, and I want it to be smooth and filled out. That sounds great. Obviously the mod sounds real nice. It's got a little bit of a different repeat situation going on. Yeah, so I mean, I just like playing it. Obviously, bigger vintage sounds. Get a little more repeats on that. The mod. Sounds great. Yeah, so I like the way all these sound distorted. Obviously, you can just double time it with a switch. good dotted riff going. Yeah, so I mean that's great that it. Yeah, so you're not having to guess, you know, if the dotted's going to be in time or not. You just tap it out, and then the dotted works great. So, yeah, if you're going to have subdivisions, you know, those are the subdivisions you would want. I mean, obviously, you could go with endless subdivisions and do all sorts of other crazy stuff. But for, you know, a small pedal like this, with those features, the way it interacts with the amp, this thing sounds great. 9 presets. I mean, plenty of presets for, you know, for doing a show. If you know, I don't know if I use, other than timing differences, I don't know if I actually use more than that in terms of different like sounds per se, but you could also use this to save different mix levels and all that. So yeah, I mean the Mako Series D1 by Walrus Audio, great big smooth delay sound, packed with features, small, intuitive, great tap tempo, no complaints. I think sounds fantastic, clean or distorted. Worked with every kind of riff I threw at it. All the features are really well thought out. It's a great delay pedal. I really like it.